Pluribus, a show about a rather despondent woman immune from a virus that has overtaken the world, forcing everyone into happiness, who must uncover what's actually going on and save everyone from their own blissful existence, premiered on Apple TV recently. And I have to say that, despite Vince Gilligan, the show's creator, being of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul fame, 2 episodes in, the jury is still out for me on this one. I think the new spin on an otherwise familiar premise and the creator's track record gives me some hope about the show's overall potential, but I'm going to have to see exactly where we're headed and maybe even how long the trip will be before I can give a final verdict on whether this idea is genius or absolute shit. Now, the show explores themes that revolve around survival versus resistance, the conflict between compliance and individuality, and the question of whether false happiness is ultimately worth the loss of oneself. It also explores the tension between an encroaching blissful hive mind and an individual's desire to retain their unique identity and flawed but genuine human experience. Other themes include the potential dangers of AI and fast progress, as well as the stretching of human empathy to its breaking point. And while I agree with the people here that see Carol's character as unlikable, that's the entire point, and is the case by design. In episode 2, we find out that Carol herself is responsible for the deaths of 11 million people, so it's likely that she will have to ultimately find her way to personal happiness or risk the extinction of the entire human race. So while Gillian may want you to root for Carol, it's true, it's not in the way that most people are thinking. And speaking of Carol, I like Ray Seahorn. I loved her in Better Call Saul, and I am more than confident that she has the acting chops to lead this series despite what some are saying. I also think that 2 episodes in, the plot is still intriguing enough for me to want to know more. And I've seen a fair amount of comments about this show on the aggregates, so I know I'm out on a limb thinking that the writing here is underrated. And the show has a first season short enough that even with the setup making for a fairly slow burn, it still has a chance to maintain momentum at least through the season 1 finale. Now, so far, I'd give this show a 75% or a 7.5 out of 10 if you're thinking IMDb score, essentially a B- for a letter grade. Look, I think using an alien invasion to explore an individual person's willingness to pursue happiness is a worthwhile effort. And if I'm forced to pick a side right now, I think the show will end up being better than the naysayers think. But Gillian's shows can be dry at times, let's be real. Despite their acclaim, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul were as well. So I went into watching this show already understanding what the beat was, and so I'm not as disappointed with what I've seen as some others may be. And if you like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, or both, I think this show, while certainly not as good as them, is still worth a watch.